The Philippines is known for its rich culture and diverse traditions. Long before modern society developed, indigenous communities already had their own beliefs, philosophies, and ways of understanding life and nature. These ideas were not written in books but were passed down through stories, songs, rituals, and everyday practices from one generation to another. For many indigenous Filipinos, life is deeply connected to nature, community, and spirituality. Mountains, rivers, forests, and animals are not just part of the environment. They are respected as sacred elements that sustain life. Through indigenous literature such as legends, epics, riddles, and proverbs, the wisdom of the elders continues to guide people in how to live with respect, responsibility, and harmony. These traditions reflect the values, beliefs, and identity of the community. They teach important lessons about courage, unity, respect for nature, and the importance of preserving culture. Even today, these indigenous perspectives remain an important part of Filipino heritage. In this documentary, we will explore the philosophy and spirituality of indigenous Filipinos and how their worldview continues to influence their way of life. By listening to their stories and understanding their traditions, we can discover the deep wisdom that has shaped communities for generations. Through this journey, we hope to appreciate the beauty, knowledge, and cultural richness of indigenous people of the Philippines.
Philosophy isn't just found in the dusty Greek tomes. It lives in the way we breathe, speak, and treat the land. According to scholar Rolando Ripaldo, Filipino philosophy is a vast landscape of 16 different meanings categorized into three distinct approaches: the traditional, the nationality, and the cultural. Today, we look through the cultural approach. This is where our indigenous worldviews reside, found in our grassroots folk wisdom, our local ethics, and our unique identity. Dr. Florentino Timbreza argues that because a Filipino experience exists, a Filipino philosophy must exist. He calls this our Weltanschauung, or collective worldview. This worldview is rooted in 7 principles. Knowledge is cyclic. Everything is alive. The land is sacred. And perhaps most humbling, that humans are the least important part of this vast, interconnected world. Timbreza breaks this down into 5 fragments of life: the law of reversion, the balance of nature, centripetal morality, the value of non-violence, and our deep concept of life and death.
I am Jill Carino Ibaloy from the Philippines. Indigenous peoples' lands, biodiversity, and traditional knowledge are the source of our sustenance and well-being. Indigenous wisdom teaches us to help each other develop as a community, to care for the land and its resources while paying respect to the unseen. Indigenous wisdom provides a foundation for living a good life in harmony with nature.
This is not a philosophy of being, but a philosophy of living. It is the intellectualization of our indigenous reality.
Filipino spirituality is a living connection between people, nature, and the unseen world. It is expressed through rituals, prayers, and traditions that bind communities together. Spirituality is the search for the sacred beyond oneself. For Filipinos, this means communion with God, nature, and unseen forces. Animism teaches that spirits dwell in rivers, mountains, and trees. Nature itself is alive and sacred. Anito refers to spirits, ancestors, and deities regarded as pure souls or gods. They are honored through offering and prayers. The Aethas worship Apo na Malayari as their supreme god. The Mangyans revere Mahal Umaki, creator of all things seen and unseen. Pakikipagkapwa means shared identity or shared humanity. It reminds us that we are deeply connected to others. Indigenous beliefs blended with Catholic traditions, creating folk Catholicism, devotion to saints often echoes older Anito practices. Rituals and devotions remain central to Filipino spirituality. Sacred mountains like the Nahaw are visited for worship and renewal. Puestos are holy spaces in the Nahaw recognized for generations. Pamumuesto is the spiritual practice performed in these places. Filipinos honor the dead through devotion such as the Santo Entero. Ancestors remain present guiding the living. Images are treated as sacred persons, bath and perfume. Devotees touch icons to feel God's presence and ask for healing. Popular piety blends Catholic faith with animistic qualities. The dead remain active participants in the lives of the living. The Aethas believe in Anito, Kanana, and the god Gutul Matan. Their traditions endures despite the spread of Christianity. Mount Pinatubo is the center of Aethas universe and home of Apo na Malayari. Illness is seen as a community concern, not just individuals' burden. Sickness is treated through rituals involving the mga Nito, family, and community. The Aethas remain faithful, saying life is a gift from God. Their prayers, dances, and rituals show gratitude and respect for nature. Indigenous spirituality in the Philippines is a tapestry of animism, ancestral devotion, and shared humanity. It endures in rituals, sacred places, and the living bond between people, nature, and the divine.
Now, we will explore the different indigenous languages here in the Philippines, their forms and characteristics, and their very important role in preserving the culture, identity, and history of our indigenous people.
Sa agos ng ilog.
According to linguist David Crystal, there are 5 main reasons why do we need to study and care for these languages. First, linguistic diversity enriches our human world. Second, language is a true expression of one's identity. Third, languages serve as repositories of history. Fourth, they hold the wisdom and knowledge of a group of people. Last, each language is unique and valuable on its own. When a language dies, we lose a whole way of understanding life and the world. The Philippines is known as one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. Due to our geography and history, we have a total of 187 languages. Out of this, 175 are indigenous languages found from northern part of Luzon down to Visayas and throughout Mindanao. We have languages like Ilocano, Ifugao, Ibanag, Cebuano, Hiligaynon, Waray, Maguindanaon, Maranao, and Tausog, each distinct and unique to their own community. However, the status of these languages is alarming. Currently, 41 are institutional, 73 are developing, and 45 are still vigorous and strong. But sadly, 13 languages are already in trouble, 11 are dying, and 4 are already extinct. Only about 27 languages are currently being used in schools under the mother tongue-based education program. Despite these challenges, some groups have successfully preserved their ancient writing systems. In Mindoro, the Buhid and Hanunu Mangyans people still use their traditional syllabic script. They write poems called Ambahan and Bamboo. In Palawan, the Tagbanua community also maintains their own script, which is closely related to the ancient Baybayin writing system used by early Filipinos. Now, let's talk about indigenous literature. This includes epics, myths, legends, riddles or bugtong, folk tales, and ritual chants. Most of these are oral traditions, passed down by word of mouth. Famous examples are the Hudhud chants of the Ifugao, which tell stories of heroes and harvest. In Panay Island, there is the tradition of the Binukot, a person specially trained to memorize and chant the community's history. Among the Igorots, the elders or priests, known as Mumbaki, serve as the storytellers. These literatures are not just stories. They teach values, explain the origin of things, and preserve the group's unique beliefs and way of life. To summarize, indigenous languages and literatures are more than just words or entertainment. They are the main vehicle for cultural transmission. They preserve the socio-cultural characteristics, the identity, and the history of indigenous peoples. Preserving them means preserving the richness and soul of our Filipino nationhood.
The Philippines is rich in culture and tradition. Across the country, different indigenous communities express their identity through arts and crafts. These are not just decorations or souvenirs. They are a reflection of history, beliefs, and everyday life. From weaving and carving to music and dance, indigenous arts continue to preserve the spirit of the Filipino people.
Each region in the Philippines has its own unique artistic traditions. In northern Luzon, the Ilocanos are known for inabel, from the Ilocano word abel, meaning to weave.
Domingo, welcome to our humble shop. Weaving is a part of our culture, and it is one of the factors that defines who you are.
Indigenous groups in Cordillera perform ritual dances that celebrates harvest, victories, and community life. In Mindanao, Muslim communities create detailed brasswork, musical instruments decorated with colorful patterns and designs. They are also known for textiles.
Bawal po siyang gawin ng doormat.
These works are more than art. They are part of everyday living and cultural identity.
Pag hindi mo
In Bohol, traditional craftsmanship remains alive through weaving, pottery,
wood carving, and different handmade products.
Hili ko po ang gumawa ng basket. Ang lahat ng materials po ay mga ratan po at saka buri. Andin kawayan. Nagaling lang po dito sa Bohol.
Local artisans create baskets, mats, jars, decorations, and religious images that show the creativity and skills of Boholanos.
This brings us to the end of our documentary. Throughout this film, we explored the rich history, unique traditions, vibrant culture, and enduring struggles of indigenous peoples across our land. All facts, stories, and details shared here we carefully gathered from verified credible sources, documented records, and trusted public research. Prepared with the greatest care to ensure accuracy and, most importantly, deep cultural respect. Even though we did not visit these communities in person, we strive to represent them honestly, without stereotypes, and with full honor for their dignity, identity, and rights. Their wisdom, their connection to nature, and their living heritage are a precious part of our nation's shared story, a legacy that deserves to be understood, protected, and celebrated. We hope this documentary has given you a clearer, deeper understanding of who they are, the challenges they face, and the value they bring to our society. May this work inspire each of us to respect their culture, listen to their voices, and stand with them in preserving their way of life for future generations. Thank you for watching.